Martin! What's up, buddy? Hello, hello. How are you doing, my friend? How was your weekend and Monday? Let me get this going. Where am I? Why am I drawing a blank today? There we go. Hello! Oi! Hello, hello! Good morning, guys. Get this stretch on. There we go. This is where we left off last. Really good. Just ordered my RTX 3080. Woo, like a boss. Like a boss, man. That's awesome. Hey, what's up, Ryan? Hello. Hello, hello. Dude, Martin, that's gonna be sick, man. I'm jealous. 3080? I'll tell you right now, like, I love my 2080, but yeah, 3080 be sick. Hey, what's up, Art? How you doing? Morning, guys. Morning. Where's my glasses? There they are. How's your guys' Monday going? How's your Tuesday? What's Tuesday? How's Tuesday going? But how was your Monday yesterday? All right. We're going to continue this anime project. I'm really excited about it. Last couple days have been kind of like meh a little bit, so it'll be fun to start off with a personal project. All right. Also, too, my music has been really weird. The Pretzel Rocks, just like it takes forever to load a station now. I'm kind of bothered by that. Might have to find a new playlist. Kamara! It literally was sold out in like 1 minute. I was really fast and so lucky. Yeah, it's really crazy just how insanely fast they sell out. Okay. I don't know what's going on with Pretzel Rocks. It's like the second time. Okay, we'll see what happens. It's going. Gotta focus on posing today. Nice. There we go. Yeah, posing's always good. What are you working on posing-wise? Look at that little marshmallow. The little marshmallow, dude. Okay. I think... Alright, so I think we're going to keep the pose really simple, speaking of poses. I think this is where I'm gonna go with this look right here. I think this is a fun look. Be a really cool statue. So, gonna work on our face a little bit today, some more hair, and then those shoes, and then I think we'll get ready to pose. Yeah, I think that'll be good. Let's get the face going. Okay. I think what we're going to do is re-topo this to have a little bit more geometry around the face and get some good edge loops in the mouth and stuff. So I'm going to grab this one, split hidden. Let's call this one the head. There we go. Hot, my kangaroo character. Nice. That's right. Yeah, those are fun little characters you're working on, man. I gotta think about what I'm gonna be sculpting on Sunday because we're doing the ZBrush Core Mini series over on the Pixo. So I'm really excited about that, actually. Okay. Also, too, just curious, what did you guys think of, or what do you guys think of this keyboard thing that I got going on here? Okay. Let's grab our paintbrush. Let's fill it with white. Because I'm going to do that trick that I do. Or I'm going to retopo it, but I'll retopo it with that the polygrip bit. It's quite big, but it looks helpful. Okay, great, yeah. I had it on the stream on Pixo, and I was really excited about it. Nobody seemed to really complain about it, but I feel like it's definitely an element that can just kind of help when I'm showing things off. Hey, what's up, Alex? I just have to be careful not to type any passwords, and I should be fine. What I like is that when you hold the key, like, you know, I'm holding down spacebar, he'll just keep that highlighted the whole time. That's what I really like about it. So I'm hoping it's more helpful than in the way. But I also plan on not showing my concept on screen so much anymore, so that way can focus on getting the key inputs without too much. Hey, Slowby Art! What's up, Alex? It's going pretty good, guys. It's going pretty good. It'll be most useful when the videos are rewatched. Absolutely, yeah. I agree. I agree with that. I figure I'll leave it up for a little bit and see how it goes. I feel like it doesn't impede too much, but we'll see. Oh boy. Oh, Kamara, now that you're here, we gotta talk about creatures. Curious when you want to do a creature stream. I'm down. I'm like really down. Maybe next week would be good. If you're down. Alright, I'm gonna make. Yes. Kind of get that. Be fun to think of a few creatures. Alright, so I'm kind of just creating some edge flow where there's going to be a mouth. There we go. There we go. Next week works for you? Awesome. Alright, cool. Then let's chat a little bit more and get a game plan going. I'm excited. For those of you guys who came in on the Pixo stream, A, thank you guys for stopping by. I really like it when you guys are there. But two, how do you guys think it's going over there? Definitely wouldn't mind. I really enjoyed talking about 3D printing on Sunday, but you know, this week we're doing my ZBrush Core Mini, but you know, I'm always excited for a little bit of feedback. Seems really fun. I really like it. Okay. There we go. I'm just doing some basic edge loops here too. I'm not doing anything too crazy. You're going great? Awesome. It's doing great. Okay, cool. Yeah. Thanks. I appreciate it. I'm getting more comfortable on that channel. I just want to make sure I'm bringing some useful information. That's actually my goal, is to really just make sure that I bring some useful information, something that I think most people who are trying to get into ZBrush can utilize, and then slowly like introduce some more tricks, and I want to learn more too so I could bring more to that table. So Am I still nervous in the Pixel streams? Not so much anymore. It's more of like being comfortable with it now. The first two streams, first stream I was super nervous. Second stream, not so, a little bit. But then I'm getting, it's like starting a job. You know what I mean? It's like starting a job where you get hired and then you go there and then you're like, okay, the first week you're like, okay, yeah, it's still new to you. You're still kind of like feeling it around, getting to know your coworkers. Second week, you're like, yeah, okay, it's getting comfortable. And then by the end of the month, you're either really comfortable or you feel like an outcast. You know what I mean? It's like that feeling. So not so much nervous anymore. Just more of like, okay, yeah, this is where I'm at. That's cool. I like it. No, I'm really digging it. I just want to make sure too that I'm bringing something useful to the table. I'd hate to be the guy who's like not bringing anything worth a damn, you know? Not that I think that's what's happening, but you're not seeing any insecurities whatsoever. Yeah, your community is growing because you're doing such a great job. Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate the support, guys. I really do. Thank you guys so much. I really enjoy it. Okay. Let's do some polygroup it. Yeah, it seemed like everybody was really excited about keying and cutting for 3D printing, so I cannot tell you how jazzed I was to be able to share that and get that kind of feedback. I was rewatching the Pixar stream where your internet was gone. I hope you didn't had any issues with the Pixelogic team because of that. No, I didn't actually. Surprisingly, that happens often to a lot of streamers. I wasn't aware of that, but apparently, that's happened to Shane, that's happened to Aki, that's happened to Mike Thompson a few times. It happened to Mike Thompson actually a couple times. No, I just reached out to them directly through our contact, and then I just said, hey, my internet just like totally tanked. Everything was fine, and then my internet cut out. So, and it looked like that got cut into two parts. And then they just kind of like just made it part 1, part 2. They, as long as you basically like reach out and tell them, hey, I've had issues, they're really good about it, which is awesome. Steven has also had some problems with the internet and streams. Yeah. So it's a common thing. I mean, it's something that was out of my control. Honestly, my biggest concern, I was frustrated. So my biggest concern was that I didn't lose my mind. Like, it wasn't obvious that I was like batshit upset. Like, that was my biggest thing. So, it's like, yeah. So I was like more concerned that I lost my ever. In my mind, I was like, oh my God, what the fuck? But then, but from what I understand, it wasn't. It didn't look like I was. It looked like I was frustrated and not upset. So. Hey, what's up, Witchcat? Yeah, that's good. The internet is a common issue for a lot of people, especially these days. It really is, yeah. And in my area, I was explaining it, I think before here, but in my area, I'm deemed what's called a slow area, which is weird because I'm in Los Angeles. But what they mean by that is that they limit the upload in the in some districts because of the amount of business that's around you. And I'm surrounded by businesses, so they get priority of the internet, and so to the suburb area, they basically limit and cut back that internet. But because of homeschooling and because of all the other things that have happened lately, they've had to change those lines and update them. And yeah, it's been quite the adventure, so to speak. So I only get 10 megabytes up. I get like 250 down. But they only give me like 10 megabytes up. So, which is really frustrating for me. But that is what I get. So I was going at like a solid 7 to a 1. and then when I ended the stream, it went to like nothing for 3 hours. And now I'm rocking like a solid 11 and a half, 12 almost. Like they've improved the line. Yeah. Yeah, no, Pixo is not unreasonable about it at all. They are quite reasonable. As long as you communicate with them, then they're perfectly happy helping you out. That's the key. They actually, I like, let's say I'm scheduled to stream on Sunday and I get sick or I'm not feeling well on Friday. I can contact them on Friday as long as I contact them like a day or two beforehand and say, look, I'm just not feeling well. You know, they're totally fine. But they just don't want people dropping out last minute. You know, so they're extremely awesome. So no complaints whatsoever, which is great. You know, and it's what's cool is it's, you know, it's like a how do I put this? It's like it's a mutual relationship. What they do for me, I do for them. You know, it's like it's really cool. Okay, I'm gonna smooth these groups out a little bit. So yeah, no, it's a lot of fun, and they were not upset. There's only a handful of people that do a great job being able to show useful info and keeping up with engaging with the chat and answering questions. You kept your cool pretty well. Okay, good. We could all sympathize with internet issues. Exactly. Would it be helpful to get business internet? That's the thing. I'm actually limited on what I can get in my area, just because they control the package, right? So in my area per se, like I don't even have Verizon internet offered in my area, even through the Wi-Fi stuff. Especially like not worth the price. I live in a very interesting area. I live in a post World War II home area, so there's not a lot that's offered in my area, even though I'm within Los Angeles. And so I've talked to my cable provider, internet provider, because I'm with Charter. I contacted them and see what could be done. If I were to get a business line, it would cost me $300 a month, and they would guarantee me up to 100 megabytes up minimum. But I don't have that kind of money. So it's like, you know, if I completely 100% was like making buku bucks doing this, then absolutely I'd pay for that. But that's why you hear some of those like YouTubers and stuff where they'll just like they'll have a studio home that they stream out of. You know, I'm thinking of like, you know, Chilled Chaos or like Stark, for example. Big streamers I know who like they stream full time for their career, so they actually have a streaming home. And it would make more sense to rent a place that has that kind of internet versus pay for internet almost. Yeah, it's weird. Guess we better start buying your prints, right? Okay, groups, because I was just arriving. I'm wondering if that was polygroup or polypaint. Yeah, it's polygroups. Yep. I'm retopologizing via Z remesher to just get a little bit of better edge flow. How are you doing? How you doing, Chris? I'm actually just using smooth groups and I'm smoothing them out just so I get a better edge flow. Especially when I do anime faces, I really like to make mouth pockets. So that way, or like mouth bags. I like making them because then it's easier to get like a stylized look, in my opinion. There we go. I'm even going to go ahead and mirror and weld. Boop. So that way I have very similar groups on each side. There we go. Now I'm going to Z remesh this. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate the face. Just duplicate the head just in case. Hit solo, and now let's do keep groups. I don't want to crease it, but let's go low geometry. Let's say 2. Ouch. Yeah, it would be a lot. Yeah, so I want to, you know, as long as my internet stays fine. Like right now, out of the 10 megabytes I'm getting of upload with my kids at school right now, I'm still getting a solid 6. So I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, that's actually a little lower than I wanted it to. Let's go 5. But that's okay. I'm trying to create a few things. Like I'm trying to create a ZBrush 101 course you guys have heard me talk about. So I'm gonna start kind of focusing on that. Gonna start going back on YouTube a little harder now that I have a little bit of ability to do so. Things have been kind of weird over at my house, so I'm able to kind of focus a little bit more, which is nice. So got plans. Hopefully they'll work. Do you think peak hours are hindering it? I don't know. It's a honestly, for the most part, I get solid lines. I think they're just because I was talking to Next Knox, who lives down the street from me, and he was saying that the last time he had Charter out at his house, that they were talking about doing a maintenance, a maintenance upgrade to our lines, and we're not the same grid. We're like, it's funny. He's right down the street from me, but we're on 2 different grids. But those grids connect to the same area because he has the same type of internet as I do. So, interesting enough, they were saying that they were going to make these upgrades, but they weren't telling us when those upgrades were going to take place. Does that make sense? So, yeah, it's kind of funky, which is okay. So yeah, it's hard because when I called them, they were just like, "Oh, there's nothing wrong with your area." Then I called them again, finally got somebody on the phone. I'm like, "My internet's out." They're like, "Oh yeah, your internet is out. He'll be up soon." I think it's just, yeah, it is what it is. But it seems to be doing a lot better now. So that's the important part. All right. Keep it the same? Nope. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and take Z Modeler. It's going to be the fun part. I'm going to make that mouth now. Yeah, honestly, I think it's just the area that I'm in, and then of course what they are quote offering. There we go. And that is a-okay. Again, I live in a post World War II home, so everything, including the house, is old as shit, and it just falls apart. Hello, Cardin. So you know, technology, man. What can we do? Look at that. Look at that mouth. It's happening. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and get normal smooth. Where are you, normal smooth? Right there. Cool. It's not antique old. It's just 1950s cookie cutter old. Yeah, that's been clearly abused. That's what it is. It's been clearly like lived hard in. All right. It's seen some shit. That skin shade is what we're gonna do. Let's go and flip this over. I'm gonna make this mouth bag. I'm sure everybody here loves that term. I do personally. All right, take the inflate brush and let's pump this up. Yeah, there are only 4 circuits in the entire house. I know, right? Yeah. I've seen some insane videos from the US where the roof completely fell off due to rain. It fell apart due to rain. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, there's some. It's not that bad, luckily, but it's not necessarily great either. It's like the person who actually owns this home goes through a rental company where I rent from. And long story short, he doesn't care about it. Right? That's really it. Like, he just doesn't care too much about the home itself. So, getting anything done or fixed is kind of a pain in the ass, but they have repaired some of the more, like, important things. Like, my garage roof was shit. They fixed that, no problem. Stuff like that. So, it's just old. Why so old? Yep, exactly. Okay. Kind of looking at her mouth a little bit. There we go. Might be a bit much. Hey, what's going on? Hello, hello, morning, morning. All right, so making a face. Anime mouths, man. Anime faces can be a little weird. Kind of push this back a little bit. Hey, Ben. Hey, Genesis. How you doing? From India. How are you? Welcome in, welcome in. Welcome in, guys. Thank you for stopping by. We are making a really fun anime character. Making, what's her name? Runa. Runa Yomozuki. Yomozaki? Did I say that right? It's from Kakegurui. It's Yomozuki. Yeah, Yomozuki. That's who. It's a fun little character. This is the character. We're going to be making it a statue, and hopefully we can hit it good enough to get portfolio too. Hey, what's up, Matt? I do remember you. Yes, I do. Yes, I do, Ben. Thank you so much for stopping by. I do appreciate it. Are you guys going to be stopping by next Sunday as well? Because we're doing the free version of ZBrush streaming next Sunday. So if you guys are interested in the free version of ZBrush and how to really utilize it for 3D printing, that's what we're going to be doing. I'm test printing those pieces. Nice, Matt. Nice. I can't wait to see that, brother. It's going to be good. Right now, I'm just trying to get this anime head cleaned up a little bit. It is definitely in the valley of the suck at the moment. Asked about your YouTube channel. I guess you did, yes. And hopefully you found it very useful. I was just actually saying earlier, I'm going to be focusing on getting more videos up soon. So keep an eye out for that. I have more time on my hand now, so I can definitely start focusing in. And if you guys have any ideas on YouTube videos you'd like to see, can always give me suggestions, idea of something you're trying to figure out, and I can cover it as best I can, or at least provide the right information as best as I could. Okay. With the move brush, I'm actually going to go to auto masking, and I'm going to kick the range down a little bit. Kind of start lifting this up a little bit. Then I can go ahead and actually start filling that in. There we go. Can I give you a suggestion for your channel? Yeah, go ahead, dude. Can I use ZBrush Mini Core with 4 gigabytes of RAM? Yes, you can, actually. Yes. I've ran it on my daughter's really crappy computer. She has a 4 gigabyte. What's the computer? It's like an HP. Yeah, it's like just like an HP OM, I think it is. Anyway, yeah, she has like 4 gigs, and I've loaded it up there. She's used it pretty well, so yes, you can. Oh, she has an Asus. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, ZBrush Core Mini does not take a whole lot of resources, so you'll be able to follow along. It might be a little slower on your computer than it would be on mine, per se, but that's okay. It'll at least give you an idea of where to start. I was going to grab the pinch brush for a second. In India, now it is morning. Oh, crazy. What time in the morning, if you don't mind me asking? It's 9:34 a.m. for me. So that means you're... Are you, like... Yeah, how many hours ahead are you? I appreciate you stopping by and hanging out. And if you have any ZBrush questions, please feel free to let me know, because I answer a bunch of that stuff here too. Okay, I'm gonna get a darker. I'm gonna use like a Matte Cat gray right now, because this face is a little wonky. Oh, it's night. Oh, sorry, not morning, night. Okay. So what do you like? Are you like 12 hours ahead? Do I use Blender at all, or just ZBrush? I use ZBrush mainly. I never really got into using Blender so much. I used it a little bit for like box modeling, mostly rendering, and then I tried doing a little bit of like rigging in there. It was okay. I just don't. It's not a program that I absolutely need to utilize, because I freelance most of my statues and toys. I don't really need to do anything other than ZBrush, which is nice. But I've used other programs, like I've used Substance Painter before. I use Marmoset for rendering now. Use 3D Coat for retopoing if I had to. But yeah, I tried getting into Blender a little bit. It just didn't fit my workflow. So I was like, oh, that's okay. But I love it. I think Blender is a great program for anybody to jump on, especially if people who like are trying to get into 3D modeling or sculpting and they don't really want to like spend any money on a program. Blender is perfect. Try to do everything more organized in categories. I marked them red in the following picture. currently only have uploads on your channel, so I don't know where your tutorials are. Really? Oh, this is somebody else's example. Let me see something. Okay, I just have uploads. Okay, yeah, I gotta make more time to clean it up. Yeah, I like that idea a lot. Yeah, I put part by part of the ZBrush Core Mini. Yeah, categories. What makes ZBrush better than Blender for sculpting? What makes ZBrush better than Blender for sculpting is that it's designed for sculpting. Originally, ZBrush was designed as a 2.5 program for painting, meaning it was just gonna kind of visualize and do in-depth, painting for like almost like that kind of like AO kind of fake 3D effect. But in its early stages, people were using it, like Todd McFarlane kind of helped pioneer it, really utilized it for the sculpting process. So when ZBrush became more popular, Pixelogic knew it was for sculpting first, so they started catering and bringing that in. So it's a dedicated sculpting program, where Blender is a one-stop shop. So Blender can handle a lot of things, but it has a hard time handling high geo, and it hasn't really perfected one aspect. It's a one-stop shop, kind of the, jack of all trades, master of none. But Blender has come up really quickly in the last year and a half, because it's not... Blender sucked before the pandemic. I tried to use it, I hated it. And then I started learning Maya to do Rutaboy. Then the pandemic happened, then people started really focusing on Blender, and Blender just took off overnight. So Blender is great for the overall, want to get your hands dirty, get in there. But ZBrush is dedicated for sculpting, so it can handle higher geo for sculpting better. It can handle a lot more of that workload that you need in order to get high res models. Blender can keep up, but you gotta kind of do a lot of things to make it keep up. So it's more like comparing an apple and an orange, in my opinion. ZBrush is just for sculpting, painting, maybe, and they're trying to improve that side. Blender is doing everything else. So if you just go apples to apples on the sculpting side, Blender's okay. ZBrush is awesome. Everything else Blender does, ZBrush can't do. Does that make sense? So yeah. Hey, what's up, Inspire? What's going on, dude? Yeah, it makes sense. By the way, I love your Gwynnum sculpt. I painted her in my Elgo Saturn, and I can't wait to... Or you printed her in her Elgo Saturn, I can't wait to paint her. Nice, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm glad you guys like that one. Yeah, Blender is nice, especially with the node system, but sometimes you just really want to hop in and sculpt something really cool. Exactly, yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's my take on it. Yeah, ZBrush is kind of like a league on its own. It's just sculpting. That's pretty much it. But Blender can do so much. Blender can do a lot, and I'm really kind of proud of what Blender's become. But I pay for ZBrush for sculpting, so there's no need for me to whatchamacallit. There's no need for me to learn another sculpting program per se. It just doesn't make sense to me. I'd rather just focus in on this program. But then if I ever needed to use Blender for anything else, absolutely. So hopefully that makes sense. Yeah. Anyway, Martin, going back to this idea. Yeah, I need to go in and actually clean up some stuff. So I need to find time. My original approach to YouTube was really simple. Put up some really simple videos, but mainly use it as a streaming platform alongside of Twitch. So I didn't really give YouTube a chance. Plus my schedule just kind of didn't permit. So, but yeah, I need to stop making excuses. I still haven't tried Blender, hopefully soon, maybe, but I totally recommend it for anyone thinking about wanting to try 3D. Can't beat the price tag. Absolutely, Kamara. That's my same thought too. It's like Blender is perfect for people who want to start. But like anything else, you know, like in my opinion, if you pick up Blender and you are starting to get into hard surface and you really love hard surface, it might be a good idea to take a look at what Maya can do for you, or a more industry standard program. Although Blender is becoming more and more industry standard the longer we talk about it, so there's a lot of companies who have taken it on, and that's pretty awesome. In your which age you thought you'd become a CG artist? Well, so I'm 37. I've been sculpting in ZBrush for almost 5 years now, for about 5 years. I didn't really get serious about. I didn't really know what I was gonna do. I spent like 12 years in aerospace as a machinist, and then I moved into the private industry of machining, and I worked for a company called Wet Design where we fabricated water fountain features. So big water fountains, not like the little ones you'll see at the mall, but we're talking like the Bellagio or like the big Dubai fountain that you probably have heard of. Done a lot of stuff in China, did some stuff in India as well, actually. And so I worked with them for a few years, and then I was doing wedding photography and photo retouching on the side. And that was okay. I liked it. But then I wanted to try something new. So I'd say right around the time I was 31, 32, I started thinking about wanting to become an artist again, because I had a 2D background. When I was a kid, I used to do a lot of simple drawings and animation. So I thought, hey, let's jump on that train for a little bit. So I went to check it out, and a buddy of mine turned me on to ZBrush when I showed him a program called Sculptress. And he was like, you gotta check out ZBrush. So I downloaded ZBrush trial. I liked it, played with it for a little bit. Then I bought ZBrush Core. And it wasn't until like my second year that I was like, okay, I think I could do something with this. So now I'm 37. And this year alone, the pandemic's kind of helped a lot, actually, because I was able to, being unemployed, I was able to focus in on studying and working really hard to kind of lock in my skill set. And now I'm here. Yeah. My opinion, bottom line is, if you are an artist and can't afford to invest in yourself, then I suggest buying ZBrush hands down. Yep, I agree. If you want to, like you said, get your fingers dirty, get Blender. Exactly, yep. I love that keyboard overlay. What is it? Actually, so OBS had there's like a Reddit plugin called Input Overlay. If you just type in OBS Input Overlay, it kind of brings that up. And yeah, I found it pretty cool because it kind of helps show you guys what I'm typing all the time. When you're doing teeth, you polygroup them together to make things easier for them? Yes. Yeah. When I'm doing teeth, I definitely polygroup them together, for sure. I try to keep teeth as simple as possible unless it requires the detail too. So sometimes I'll just do a simple like cylinder, cut it, manipulate it to the size of the head, and then go from there. My thinking is, once you know the fundamentals in a program, you can learn the interface in another, no problem. But I agree, ZBrush is pretty necessary for more serious sculpting. Exactly. And ZBrush too, so I'm going to make this bold statement because I've heard Paul Gabriel make it, and I've only experienced this as well, so it kind of like helped. There is more to being a CG artist than just games, movies, and toys. Like, there's a big world out there. There's a bunch of people who want just basic statues. There are people out there who want memorabilia. There are people who just want memorials. There are people who want props. Like, there's a lot to do. When most people think ZBrush, they think, oh, games, movies, and toys is kind of last, which is funny. But then there are other aspects like props. You know, there are especially product photography is huge. If you can make something, like you can make a prop in ZBrush, you know, you can use any program for it. It's one of the more cheaper programs too. Maya's super expensive, but yeah, there's a lot of other areas besides those that work as well. So yeah, 3D is a massive area indeed. Yeah. IKEA actually 3D models and renders their whole catalog. They do, yeah. Yeah, there's actually people, if you guys know Mike Thomas, or Thompson, sorry, I don't know why I say Thomas. Mike Thompson, he also streams on Pixo. He does illustrations. He'll 3D model, and then he'll make his illustrations from his 3D models. So he never has to go back and redraw something. He just reposes or re-renders, which is really, really cool. So there's a lot to it, which is awesome. Car commercials are all 3D renders at this point. They are, aren't they? Yeah, I haven't done much freelance, but all my freelance work has been like things like trophies. Yeah. Yeah, my stuff has been basic statues, a couple toys. Yeah, just fun little stuff. And everybody wants to prototype in 3D printing now. So that also makes it really easy. I need to take a look at her face a little bit closer. I'm not getting the right shape, and it's driving me nuts. Do you just duplicate one after another on the same subtool layer to make them one subtool? It depends. Hey, it really depends on... I duplicate based on importance. So if I can repurpose that subtool into something else, yeah, then I'll just duplicate. Because Control-Shift-D duplicates any one subtool or folder. So I'll definitely utilize the duplication process to get anything I need really quickly. By the way, I have gardeners outside. They're not mine, they're my neighbors. So if you guys hear anything like that, that's what's happening. Just small heads up. Okay, I really need to fix this geometry right here. It's kind of breaking a little bit. When you start fighting the geometry, that's when you need to kind of start subdividing and getting that cleaned up a little bit. So I'm actually going to apply this because it's giving me just a little bit of grief. You can't hear them at all? Okay, cool. Yeah, now I'm 16 years old and I'm going to attempt an aptitude test for getting a scholarship for learning VFX for free. Ben, dude, that is awesome. Dude, I'm going to keep my fingers crossed for you, man. That's awesome. Get it. I was actually thinking, we're talking about the teeth question. Oh, yes. Okay, here, let me load up something real quick. Let me save this real fast. I'll show you an example of teeth I made. Yeah, the leaf blowers are in full action at your apartment building right now. It's like, why do they need 4 guys walking back and forth with super loud leaf blowers for 2 hours? Yeah. Let me show you guys real quick. Show you my a set of teeth I've done. I haven't built teeth in a while, so these are a little old. But let's see here. I repurposed them in a freelance gig that I did. Okay. So here's a set of teeth that I did. And I use this as a base mesh for the most part. And so I keep them relatively uniform. But yeah, when I'm making my main teeth, the thing to really remember is that, you know, your molars are going to look different than your front teeth. And actually these need to be fixed a little bit. Here's the top row. I think the top row is a little bit better than the bottom. But here's the poly group. I keep them all kind of separate so I can actually highlight and get that one but I have them all in the same subtool. Like rakes don't exist or something, right? Yeah. So hopefully this gives you a little bit of guide too. Also create a temporary tongue as well. So this is definitely a path I take a lot with teeth. My friend guys, as soon as you said renders for illustration, I put flat shade on and outline filter, and I just saw a solution for the hair silhouettes from I've been irritated with. There you go, yeah. That's how you know humans are omnivores. We have sharp teeth for piercing and flat for grinding. Yep. Okay. Alright. I need to fix her face. Okay, luckily her ear is going to be hidden. But I gotta... Let's clean this up. Well, I'm glad that helped you out, right? Okay. Thing to remember with anime faces too is that this they have a very specific like 3/4 angle. They have a very unique look about them. So I want to try to achieve that too. Yeah, I need to play more with the rendering, by the way. The toon shading rendering. Let's start pushing that in a little bit more. Smooth that down just a little bit. There we go. Let's get better. It's a very sharp chin, this character. Flip normal guys also use ZBrush. They do, yep. It's looking good, yay. Yeah, flip normal guys use ZBrush a lot in most of the things that they do. But I do appreciate how they've become more of like the teacher, mentorship type guys. So they cover a little bit of everything. They have a good Blender course too. Okay, so this part right here, I need to kind of clean this cheek up a little bit. I use a lot of move brush at this point, because we need that 2D look, and then we need it to flip into 3D pretty well. So I'm actually going to take the trim dynamic and hopefully blend that in. Yeah, heck yeah. So what I was dealing with was the direct on look of hair. When the points of the tuft are pointed at you, it bothered the crap out of me and couldn't figure it out. Okay, yeah, got it. Oh, restream. My real name is Ian. Yeah, IR is actually my IR sculpting. It just stands for my name, Ian Robinson, which you can. I'll send you my my main link. But yeah, so IR just stands for my name, Ian Robinson, and then sculpts. Yeah. Hey IR, good morning. I love that you're trying new styles for this particular model. When you print it out, will you be using decals for the eyes, or will you be sculpting in the eyes? I will be painting the eyes. Yeah. Because traditional anime sculpting heads, the eyes are stamped. They're never sculpted. So I'm going to be painting them. Yeah. Yeah, that's about it. I'm gonna be painting him. Super original. Yeah, I'm subscribed to both of you. Oh, thanks, man. Feel super honored to be mentioned in the same name as Flip Normal, so that's thank you. Anime sculpting is beyond me. Anime sculpting is difficult. There's no two ways about that. If you guys want to see, okay, so I did a Sailor Moon a while ago. I'll show you guys that one. It's the anime head that I really learned a lot from. So it's not the best anime head. And then also too, I sculpted Vegeta shortly after, and I did a lot better. I also did a Chibi Todoroki that also helped me with getting a little bit better at anime. And since I love anime so much, I want to get better at sculpting it. So let me show you the Sailor Moon that I have. How often are you using mask by cavity tool? I find it to be really good for scales, skin grooves, and such. I use it all the time. That's why I have it actually at the top. I have a mask by cavity because I try to push all my details as heavy as I can. Let's see, I did Sailor Moon last year, early last year. Let's go back. I think this was it. Let's see, can you say about the use of LinkedIn, the LinkedIn platform? To be honest, the LinkedIn platform is, I find it interesting. I've been on LinkedIn for 5 years, easily, and I've never once gotten work through there. I put my stuff up there. I know I'm not super active, but I don't find it's weird. I've not benefited with doing anything more than connecting with other people, but I haven't like gotten a job because of LinkedIn. I haven't gotten work through there, even freelance. Nobody's reached out and tried to collaborate with me there. So yeah, I have no like, I'm on there and I try to post every once in a while, but the most I've ever gotten from there was a manufacturing company in China reached out to me and asked if I wanted to prototype my sculpts. And I said, no, I can prototype myself. So this was a Sailor Moon statue that I did a little while ago. And there's some things I don't like about it, but I learned a lot from this head. And this head is just painted on there. The eyes and such. I don't like this anime head. I think it's gross. But this really, like, I think overall the elements of the statue is pretty cool. I sold a few of these, so I was pretty happy with that. So when pushing those details, do you do that with the mask cavity and then decimate or zebra mesh? When I'm doing details, I'm on full subdivisions, and usually pretty high when I start using mask by cavity. I would say I only decimate when I'm getting ready to print at that point. Once I go into subdivisions, after like this face, for example, I'm in subdivisions. I'm not going to be changing this whatsoever. So unless I completely break this, I'm now just going to stay subdivided until it's ready to 3D print. Yeah, let's see. Same, I haven't benefited from LinkedIn at all. And I've come from a graphic design background. Okay, yeah, so what is strange to me about LinkedIn is that it became a social platform like Twitter. It did, yeah. But like it's supposed to like it has a like a lynda.com feel where it's like trying to help teach people skill sets or verify their skill sets. I don't know. It's very bizarre to me as well. So yeah. I at the end of the day, I don't have really a clue on how it would benefit me in any way, shape, or form. And that's the thing, I want it to do something. Like, I see that Disney, you know, big studios like Disney, you know, they post stuff on there all the time, but I just haven't benefited from it, so I have no clue. It's also owned by Microsoft now? Is it really? Interesting. I mean, there are some people which got hired from recruiters which found them on LinkedIn, at least in the game industry. Yeah, I would imagine that. I mean, I've seen people get hired on there. I just haven't experienced it myself. I don't know. Yeah, I'm kind of torn with LinkedIn a little bit. So yeah. I feel like it hits a certain geographic. Yeah, LinkedIn for business is for business relationships. You have to prominently offer a solution to a problem and network with the people that need that solution. See, that's not the business I'm in. The only thing you might get from LinkedIn is freelance work from corporate clients that don't know what ArtStation is and they just search for artists. That's very interesting. Yeah, I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, ArtStation is my best tool for sure. Okay, she has kind of high cheeks, so that's... Need to bring those up a little bit. Just got rid of the poly groups so I can see a little bit more clearly. Always afraid to post anything on there because it's all businesses job related that don't want to offend, that you don't want to offend anyone or put something up that would cause you not to get a job. Yeah, it's all weird. I just want a job, man. I want a consistent studio job. Hire me, somebody. Want a consistent studio job or just really get some good freelance gigs? Although freelance is always like, if you're freelancing, you're always pushing. You're always gonna be pushing. I didn't mean to do that part. Let's go there. But it's hard too right now with the pandemic. Pandemic has really made things a little bit more difficult in my opinion. You know? There's only so much we have control over at this point. So just keep pushing. I would imagine Culture is pretty active on LinkedIn. Yeah, I feel like it would be, yeah. Why you should think about making NFTs like Beeple. Actually, I've talked about it briefly here. I'm not really buying NFTs right now for one major reason. Feels like a giant popularity contest, and I don't think I would sell anything worthwhile. And then the second reason for me is that the amount of fees that you get stacked with at the end of the day to make anything viable, I feel like you need to make a lot of money to make that return on investment worthwhile. Beeple is in my opinion, the most luckiest artist on the planet right now. He happened to get in on the right time. He put in the right amount of work. He was super popular already, and that just led to success for him. Where that NFT goes, I think the NFT is still new enough that it's a risk for the random artist to jump on there. They need to solve like some big theft issues and maybe really work on the platform. I think then NFT will be a pretty good viable option for a lot of artists. But I think at this moment right now, it's so much of a popularity contest that maybe I could sell something and get a couple $100, but then I'm gonna lose half of that in fees. So I don't see it worth it at this point for me. But I don't knock anybody who does it. I'd say if it's something that you feel like you want to do it. You know, just kind of research and just be careful. Exactly. If you're well known, I agree with that. Well, you do offer solutions to the problem. That's what this is. Just like when you fix up that belt buckle. That's true. Yeah, they specifically are for business, not as a Facebook alternative. But people use it for that Facebook alternative, which is weird. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Bat Slayer? How you doing? I agree. NFT is not worth it right now. Yeah, just it's not worth it right now. Rush, dude, Rush. I'm a day late, dollar short, but happy birthday, my friend. It's a me, Rushio. Dude, shout out to Rush, man. I know half of you pretty much know who he is, but Rush is a very awesome, very talented artist. If you like waifus and some not safe for work stuff, hit him up. Happy birthday. Yeah, dude, happy birthday, man. Everything here on my side of the world has been crazy, so I'm not avoiding you, I totally promise. I just had a bunch of shit to deal with the last couple days. That just really put a damper, but I meant to stop by. So happy birthday, man. Working on a sculpt to MXYZ. Oh, cool, dude. Beeple words coming out of his mouth want to be censored. Yeah. Okay, this is where we're at right now. I need to... Her cheeks are higher than this, so we need to push this in. I use the move brush a lot when I'm making anime heads, because they're supposed to be really, really smooth. Delete lower, delete higher. I will do that. Just get a more consistent look. Do I know this DC character? I don't know this DC character, no. I'm not really versed in DC. Oh, they don't even need to be crazy. I've been obsessed with Monster Hunter since 2 Fridays ago. Nice, dude, nice. There we go. And how is Monster Hunter? Current game I started playing again is Mario Kart because it's awesome. I feel like Mario Kart's like a definite go-to. Got 5 minutes? Jump on Mario Kart. Remember one time someone reached out to me on LinkedIn regarding the Cyberpunk 2077 launch, asking me what I thought about the bugs. They were going to use my quote in an article and you avoided it. That's smart, Comics Legend. That's super smart. Yeah, I try not to get into any conversations like that online, just because you just don't know somebody's intent. Yeah. It's like, don't quote me on that crap. Yeah, put a time lapse on your channel. I should do a time lapse on my channel. That's actually a pretty good idea. I like that. That will be everywhere, and it is connected to your name. You don't want to speak ill of anyone in the business world. Absolutely. Yep. And that goes for any business. I learned that when I was in aerospace. You don't say anything. Just don't. I mean, it's one thing to have an opinion, but it's another thing to... It's like you're saying, put something down that can be misinterpreted in any way, shape, or form that then seems like you're attacking them. It's not a good idea. There we go. Hey, Vata, thank you so much for the follow. When I was teaching at an art school, I was so paranoid of cancel culture. I had my VODs turned off just in case someone caught me saying something offensive and wanted to get me fired. Oh, jeez. Yeah. Yeah, it could be rough. I mean, to be 100% frank, I'm pretty, like, paranoid about anything I've said. You know, because I'm very much the guy of, like, everybody's entitled to their opinions. Everybody's entitled to their viewpoint. Everybody has a different walk of life, you know? So I like to come at it from the respect of your experiences in life are going to be different than mine. And so, you know, we may not agree on everything, but we can at least, you know, have a discussion. I'm always the have a discussion guy. But I know what you mean, yeah. It's weird living in a world where you feel like you have to watch everything you say. His cheek is just too wide. Yeah, Beeple is an artist with a strong business sense. He already makes a strong living off his work before NFT. Brand his NFT and then sold it with strategy. Beeple's branding. Yeah, Beeple's unique because he's a graphic designer by trade, but like he spent like 13 years just doing one kit bashed photo a day, and like he gave himself a time limit. And I remember being inspired by that. But that rise in popularity really helped cinch his NFT deal. Like nobody here in this room would have that same success out the gate unless you had that following. I think that's definitely something. That is that's evident with his approach to NFT. How do you make faces? I work in Blender and I'm having troubles. Faces. Faces are very unique, and they are a character on their own. What I would say is do a lot of anatomy, but I do the blockout method. I'm not sure how that works in Blender, but I tend to do the blockout method where I start with a sphere. And if we take a look at just this area right here, I usually start with a sphere, and then I'll kind of bring in a very similar shape like this and kind of blend that together. Then I start blocking out where the nose and stuff would be. I use a lot of reference, and I use a lot of primitive shapes and kind of just manipulate. Lots of study too, so I would say start with the block out and then go from there. Take a look at other stuff too. Really look at Anatomy for Sculptors. Great book. Cannot go wrong with that book. Ben, I don't usually talk about my family stuff online, so no offense in any way, shape, or form. I try to keep it stream art dedicated. I don't mind talking about me directly, but some things I don't talk about. Yeah, Seth made a great video on that. Be fearful of taking a stance. Yep. But in 13 years, that's not out the gate. That's 13 years. Exactly. That's 13 years of constant buildup, constant studies. Yeah, no problem. I always make people watch Da Vinci so loser on Vimeo. Vimeo, yeah. When people talk about Genesis, they always skip over that the difficult years. They do, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they, you know, art is ever learning journey, and yeah, there's definitely a lot of struggle. There's a lot of fighting. Like, you know, I'm slowly tweaking this head, right? This head I've been kind of obsessed with while we've been chatting. I freaking hate it right now. Nobody talks about that, but I think that's important too. You know, a lot of art is layering and patience. And then also too, learning where to make certain changes, when to abandon ship, when to look at things a little bit differently. Like, a lot of that's just experience that comes over time, right? But yeah, there's a lot of people who I don't think talk enough about that stuff. Yep. Yeah, art is something like rocket science because it never ends. Yep, exactly. Yeah, art is never ending. It's a big journey. So when I first started doing art as a kid, I started drawing simple stuff that I saw. Then I started doing, then I started drawing anime like any good teenager of the 90s would do. And then eventually it just got to the point where I gave up on it because I didn't think I was any good, and I thought I had to go to college to do anything. But now it's a little bit different. Also, look at heads upside down. Really look at heads upside down. It's fascinating. Where is that doing that? There we go. Let's get this nose pinched a little bit more. Latin for art is long, life is short. I would try to even say that, but I would butcher the crap out of it. Okay. I don't like that nose. Yep, undo that. I feel like this geometry is still fighting me a little bit. Like the edge flow is just not that great. Right here. You know what makes art difficult, in my opinion, these days? Is that everybody's a critic. That's actually like a big conversation piece that I would love to have with people. Is like their viewpoint. Somebody showed a meme where it was the Mona Lisa and then a bunch of like written critiques all over it. And I feel like sometimes a little bit in the industry, the art, that art's kind of lost its passion with some. And I feel like too, it's like trying to be able to bring that back a little bit and just make art enjoyable. Not necessarily always having to be the best at something, but be willing to try something. Basically, no man is the master of his craft. There is always more to learn. Indeed. think I see something I don't like. So I'm gonna try to cut this down a little bit. Trim this down. Okay, what makes anime heads really hard is trying to keep that 2D shape in the front, but then get that nice 3D render and appeal. Don't forget me if you become a famous YouTuber. Yeah, right? I will not, trust me. I would not. Guess I'll have to put more work in before I become a famous YouTuber. Alright, let's push this mouth back a little bit. That's also part of the problem. But to go back to the, real quick, to go back to the how to make a face, it takes time. That's the other thing too. Be really, really patient when trying to make your face. Don't, no need to rush it. It takes as long as it takes. I've seen people way better than me spend much longer on the fundamentals of something just to get it right. So it's definitely worth like taking that extra time, you know? Getting pulled away, no worries. I saw something earlier today about how society has squashed the creativity out of people. After a certain point, we only do art or sing or dance if we feel we can make money from it. Ooh, that's an interesting point. Yeah. I mean, it's like, you know, we definitely should, you know, it's important to be able to make a living off of something, but yeah, if that's the motivation, sometimes I can make it harder. I freaking love this song. I don't know if you guys can hear this song, but I love it. I like anthems. This song reminds me of an anthem. Art is not a sport, Shane Olsen. Exactly. It's not. Yep. To that extent, a lot of people say they can't draw or sing or dance, and that's kind of sad. I think anybody can. You know what's funny is I don't like when somebody says I can't sing, draw, or dance. Like, okay, I've said I can't sing. I can't sing well. Everybody can sing, and everybody can draw, and everybody can dance. That doesn't mean you're an expert at it. You can do it. But if you want to do it well, if you want to do it better than you can currently do it, then you have to work at it. And some people naturally can do it better than others out the gate. That's just called raw talent. But even talent needs to be honed. And so if people say I can't draw, I have them draw a stick figure, and then I say you can draw. Now, whether or not you think that's a drawing, that's up to you. But for me, that is a drawing. Now, if you want to get better, then you have to do things like learn the fundamentals, learn anatomy, learn structure, learn form, appeal, get all that going. And then we can talk about whether or not you think you can draw. Except during the... Wait, hold on, let's see here. Current character's face took me 3 days. Absolutely hated it getting in there, yeah. Seems like they take a... Wait, it seems like they did a takedown on Demon Slayer on Etsy today. Oh, no. Except during the sculpt off. Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, well, when you're in a competition, that's different. Yeah, you're in a competition. There are exceptions to the rules, but... You know, if you're doing a project, I mean, even like, unless you're, how do I put this? There's always exceptions to the rules. If you're on a job or if you're in a contest, yeah, you're going to have rules as long as you follow the rules. But, you know what I mean? 100%. Anyone can draw. I hate when people say they can't. It takes a lot of time and practice to get good. Exactly. Bloody emulators eating my PC and killing my PC like the person affected with the coronavirus. Oh man. It's I can't dance like that person specifically. Exactly. I can't sing like somebody, yeah. I can't draw like that person. Right, yeah, when you put like a standard on it, then your sentence becomes correct, but like I can sculpt anime, but I may not be able to sculpt anime as well as somebody else, so I'm practicing. That's all. And also too, if you're an artist or, you know, somebody who like cares about your output, then you also are hard on yourself. And that also too can limit us. So we try not to do that. Okay. Okay, here's what I need to do. I actually need to get these eyes kind of put in because I feel like I'm just kind of pushing clay around. That's not actually benefiting the model in any way, shape, or form. So I'm actually going to use the mask. I'm gonna kind of mask out where her eyes should be. Should be right about there. She has some pretty big eyes, actually. So kind of hate when people say I have a gift or anything of that nature. No, I just love art and I'm obsessed about getting better at it. Telling an artist they have a gift is undermining all of their effort and putting it into getting good. No, exactly. If I like, the only time I've ever said you have a gift or whatnot is if somebody's like, I think my son has a gift at drawing because I'm watching him right now and he's drawing little characters. His first character looked amazing. Like, and I mean, like, it was clearly a person. It had clear form and silhouette, but everything else lacked detail, lacked depth, etc., etc. But I was like, he understands the forms really well. Okay, that's raw talent. Perfect. Now I see him working at it, and I'm like, okay, now he enjoys it. So it's no longer the gift anymore. Now he's just sharpening the skill he already has, and some people have that. Yeah, I would say I would only say somebody had a gift or a talent is if their early works show that's there. But yeah, clearly it takes time and effort to get to that point, right? And yeah, we don't want to undermine that work either. Speaking of which, from now making eyes. This is where her eyes will be. I'm gonna do a light soften around those areas. But you're absolutely right. Yeah, I think that definitely would minimize somebody's hard work. Art is a skill, not a talent. You may start with a talent, but if you practice it and hone it and develop it, it's a skill. Yep. That goes with anything too. That's what I love about. You can just see, you know, you can tell when somebody puts in the hard work. You can also tell when people love what they do, you know? I think that goes a long way. Yeah, the obsession with clean topology and ZBrush is starting to kill me. It was an issue for me with WoW, but I've learned that 90% of the time it holds you back and slows you down. It does, absolutely. That's why I love A-Cube's approach to sculpting. She just will tear something and then say, yep. I don't really care too much about my geo either. What I do is I take a look at something like this, right? The geo is, I'm fighting the geo a little bit. It's not super clean. It got me a decent block out to get the mouth bag, but it's not clean enough. So I'm not loving it. I'm actually having a lot of problems with the geometry as a whole. So for me, it's all about, like, at some point I will easily remesh this or dynamesh it and try again if it continues to give me too much problems. Yeah, I don't assess with clean topology unless I absolutely 100% have to. Meaning I'm retopoing at that point. If I'm retopoing, okay, and then you have to obsess. But then the sculpting process is done. All right, you know what? I need to kind of see if she has a side profile. Sometimes that helps with the way they draw their characters. So let me quickly pull up some reference. Man, the gardeners are crazy active today. Yomozuki. Let's type in character sheet. See if they released a character sheet for her. There's a lot of head-on shots with her. Okay, maybe profile. Oh, here we go. There's a backwards 3/4 shot. That's actually really helpful. Okay, she's a little bit more flat-faced than I got her. That's good to know. You can get, when you're doing any type of likeness, cartoons or realism, if you can get some sort of side profile, 3/4 profile, you get a better understanding of it. Ooh, that's a good one too. Okay, so she has a very large mouth and small nose. She looks cute in some areas, and then she looks creepy as fuck in some of the other areas. Okay, I think that's going to give me enough to go off of. So I need to make some changes. Okay. J.Crew! Yeah, I used to hear that things like, you're so talented, all the time as a character job. I hated that so much. I get what they mean as a compliment, but it still doesn't mean what they think it means. Yeah, you know, I agree with that sentence, Kamara. I think the thing that maybe I've kind of honed in and learned a little bit, I think when people say it too, I think a lot of people just, they can't understand it. Like, they don't understand the talent. They don't understand how to do it, so they consider it to be something that they just compare it to talent, because to them it's already like, ooh, this is really difficult. I can't do that. That makes sense. That's kind of where I think a lot of people go with it. Okay. You know what? I'm almost like considering starting this head over, because I feel like I'm just fighting it a lot. Let me see. Maybe I won't start it over, but maybe I will have to clean it up. I think I'll clean it up a little bit. Okay. I think there's stuff I still need to do. Let me save it real quick before I make a bad decision. J. Crew's in the house. Hello, J. Crew. Hello, hello. Okay, I'm actually gonna just delete this one. I'm gonna duplicate this head as our stopping point. So you see what I mean too? Like, sometimes we struggle on some things, and that's okay. It happens to the best of us. Let's try that. I'm gonna try to clean it up, maybe get some better edge flow. Okay, that's actually a lot better. Okay, there we go. Oh, yeah, all right. Hey, that's not so bad. That's not so bad. Okay, great. All right, yes. Yes. There we go. Okay. Okay. I think I can work with that. I'll save it as number 4. Absolutely, which honestly I think is part of why I hate it, because I spent so much of my life defending digital art as real art, because people don't understand it. Yep, they think we click a button and a computer makes a model painting an animation. So people not understanding and telling me I have the gift is just a little bit of extra frustration. I totally get that. I dealt with that a lot as a photo retoucher. A lot as photo. It's crazy, actually. How much people would tell me, oh, well, can't you just put it in Photoshop real quickly, right? Can't you just throw it in there and make a quick change? And it's like, well, it's like, hold on a second. Like when I remember when oh my god, what is it called? Frequency separation came out. And if you don't know what that is, frequency separation in the retouching world is where you take the skin texture of the person and remove that from the surface, preserving that noise and detail. And then you go underneath the surface and you soften the skin and you remove the blemishes, and then you put that noise texture back. And before it became a automated program that did that, we had to go in, create a couple different layers. We had to make a subtractive layer, and then we had to use like overlay, blur, and a few other features to get that look and feel. And we did this a lot in like fashion retouching. But then, you know, eventually a program made it easier, but you still had to make a lot of those adjustments. But when we first started doing that, people were like, oh, that's really cool. And then moments later it was like, hey, can't you just really quickly just throw it in Photoshop and do that thing? You know, it takes what, like a couple minutes? Like, more like an hour? Maybe like a couple hours? No, I can't just do it real quick. What's wrong with you? So I get it, yeah. Heavily related. I think people are starting to understand more and more about how much time things take, especially with sculpting. Because I think digital sculptors are starting to get a little bit more recognition, kind of like how a traditional sculptor is, in the sense of like it takes time. It's not super easy, that sort of stuff. I think it's getting there. But yeah, there's still too many people who don't understand. And yeah, what can you do? You're not gonna lecture people? Come on, Kamaru. Alright, I think what I'm going to do is actually walk away from this face for a second. And I think I'm going to... She sucks on a lollipop. So we're going to end up doing a little bit of that. But I think I'm going to move on to her shoes right now. I've tweaked this face enough. I'm not happy with it yet, but I think it's working enough to at least start something with. So we'll put some skin tone on it. And then I'm going to have to, like, clean it up a lot. I don't love it enough yet. She has that cute little nose, so we got to keep that there. Okay, let's go ahead and save that. We are getting into the psychology and language of Bart, so maybe I should take out before I overwhelm everybody. I'm actually going to fill this color real quick. So B, no, not O, B, P, A, color, fill. After Cyberpunk 2077, casual gamer finally really understood how long and how hard it is to create games. I've heard some people were writing to Rockstar Games telling them that they should take their time with GTA 6. Good, man, good. You know, that's the thing, like, with Legend of Zelda, for example, Breath of the Wild, it took, like, a couple years to really get a good, solid game. Like, I think it took them, like, God, didn't somebody say, like, 5 to 7 years to make Breath of the Wild? Something like that. Yeah, take your time. I'm in no rush. Like, sincerely, not in any rush whatsoever. Make a good game. I'll buy it. If the game is good, I'll buy it. You know what I mean? Like, that's where I'm at these days. If the game is good, I will buy. Plain and simple. Alright, we're going to come back to her face for a little bit. Feel like I'm still fighting this a little bit. Still got a lot to learn with anime heads, I can tell you that. Let's see here. Yeah, for sure. Even my brother has commented things like, I have no idea how much time and effort goes into what you do. Recently, it's been really nice. He was always the one of, why can't you make a new portfolio piece so you can't apply for job types? It's like, what do you think I've been doing? Nice, yeah. Yep. I'm playing Breath of the Wild as you're talking. Nice! Yeah! I love Breath of the Wild. Yeah, GTA 6 has been in development for like 10 years. They skipped all the trend. How much time have you invested in this sculpt so far? In this sculpt so far, I've invested... At the end of today, it will be about 9 hours. Yeah. And that's including starting from a sphere. So I created an anime base mesh first 3 hours, and then it took me 3 hours to do a block out of her jackets, her skirt, the whole clothing. And now I've been noodling her face for almost longer than all of that. So, and I'm not even happy with it. So yeah, at the end of the day, it'll be about 9 hours in total. I think I'm going to move on to her shoes. I'm getting a little frustrated with her face, and that's okay. We'll just move on. Okay, okay, games. I gotta run. Have a good rest of your stream. Thanks, Brian. Yeah. Oh wait, hold on. Yeah. Breath of the Wild took 5 years. Yeah, Cyberpunk took 8 and significantly bigger and more technologically advanced. 8 years is really fast, if you ask me. Yeah, I mean, it really is, especially with what they did in that time. Absolutely. Yeah, Faces take so much time to get it right. It really does, Zerchan. Absolutely. Yeah, I always say Faces are like their own character. Right? It's its own character, so it takes as long as it takes. Hands too. I've spent 5-6 hours on a hand before, no problem. Okay, but now we're gonna do shoes. We're gonna do these boots a little bit. Gonna take local sim for a second. Start double on. Okay, what I want to do actually is the way her boots are. Actually want to get rid of this top edge loop. I'll delete hidden on that. Select these. Let's grab this right here. Okay, perfect. Now what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to extrude out an edge loop. So let's go BZM for Z modeler. I'm going to go extrude, go over the face. I'm going to do nothing on the face. And I'm going to extrude this out a couple times. There we go. I'm gonna take that, make that a different color. Let's do something like that. There we go. Let's actually go to dynamic. Let's get a thickness going. Kind of just see what the boot itself will look like. Okay, let's actually curve this in too. Oh, where did it go? Why did it do that? Thank you. Kind of want to bend this in just a bit. Smooth that out. There we go. Yeah, I think that'll be pretty good. That's a little too thick, obviously. So let's go like 1 point, something like that. The shoe design, if you're wondering what I'm going for this shoe design with her. Seems like a pretty simple boot, nothing too crazy. So I'm gonna want to keep the seam in as much as possible. Let's see here, actually, let's go Z modeler brush. Let's hover over an edge and let's go. Something like that. Yeah, gives it just a little bit more of a sharper transition. There we go. Okay. I'm actually going to duplicate this one. So we're gonna go shoes. I'm gonna duplicate the bottom. Sew it out, turn that part off. I'm actually gonna isolate this bottom part. Just like that. So auto group it. Then mirror and weld it. There we go. Grab the purple and delete hidden. This is gonna be my sole. Or the, not sole, but the bottom of it. Let's grab that. There we go. Let's get rid of that edge loop. I'm gonna Z remesh it. Maybe something really low. Let's try like a 1. That's still pretty big. 0.1? Yeah, there we go. Just give me some better edge loop. Okay. I'm going to lower this down. I'm going to grab this guy. Grab this guy. Let's see real quick. Okay, cool. I wanted to make sure I cut her foot off properly because the shoe kind of arches down a little bit. Kind of get this guy right here. Hey, Next Nox, what's up, dude? Hello, hello, buddy. How's it going? Okay, there we go. Let's grab the Move Infinite brush. Give it a little bit of thickness. Not much, just got back from a little errand, back to work for me. Yay. Errands are always fun, aren't they? Alright, let's extrude this out. Let's grab this face. And let's extrude. We'll make it about that thick. Okay. There we go. I always forget about that Move Infinite brush. That's so helpful. Yeah, the Move Infinite brush is one of my favorite brushes as of late. It's so helpful. I recently discovered it. It's not even a brush I discovered. Like, I recently discovered it within, let's say, the last 3 months ago. Like, really, really wish I found it sooner. Okay, great. So we're gonna crease. All right, yeah, let's crease there, and then let's crease here. And then I'm gonna create some sort of fall off with adding in a couple edge loops. Like that. Yeah. That's better. And then that Move Infinite brush. There we go. There we go. Something like that. And then she actually has some pretty big heels. So I'm actually going to add one more crease. So the Z modeler brush, let's do crease. Actually, no, I think that's going to be good. Yeah, let's crease it right there, actually. And let's select this component right there. To explain how the Move Infinite brush works. So the way the Move Infinite brush works, so BMN for the Move Infinite brush, what it does is when you go to grab something, it grabs everything within that line of sight of the brush. So it's very viewport dependent. So for example, if I want to move this up or down together all the way across, then I want to basically set it up on a side profile, grab it, and then once I grab it, it's going to basically grab everything in that line of sight that the brush would technically grab or influence and drag it up. Where like a normal move brush will only grab the point in which it grabs, Move Infinite brush grabs everything. That being said, you need to be careful because if you grab something like this, you see here now it's grabbing the back. So it literally grabs everything within that line of sight of that brush. So I typically will use Move Infinite when I need to make profile changes or I need to make some sort of just uniform change across the board. But like if I come here and start doing it, while that may work on that subtool, you know, you don't want to use it as a normal move brush. Just try to get it to where it's kind of helps everything out. It's the same if you were to kind of lasso mask, how it moves everything. It's the same kind of structure. It's a pretty new brush. Okay, that's good to know. Like, how new of a brush is it considered? Like I said, I only found it like a couple months ago. Infinite influence depth for camera. Yep. Let's do local. There we go. Grab that right there. And I want to elongate this a little bit. maybe 1 year ago. Okay, all right, so it's not too. Oh, that's good. Yeah, no problem, Matt. No problem at all. All right, let's grab the Z modeler brush and let's extract or extrude. I'm gonna hit Alt to make a new poly group. Let's grab this right here. I'm going to use this white line up top to actually get it really close to the other part. So match the heel to the toe. There we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and crease this edge. Crease that too. There we go. Let's make that black. Well, let's make it like a dark. Maybe about the same color as her skirt. There we go. Go blur, color, and fill object. It looks like it was introduced in ZBrush 2020. Nice. Late November 2019. That's really cool. It is always good to know. I like it when they introduce new brushes. I'm a sucker. Sucker for them. Okay. Let's actually take that thickness down. I'm going to offset it in the opposite direction so that it mainly intersects with her foot on the inside. We'll end up kind of that's what I'm looking for. We'll end up capping it off on the inside so it's printable. Hello, how are you today? I'm doing good, Miranda. How are you doing? Happy Tuesday. Let's put that up a little bit more. Yeah, let's... We'll add some stitching too. I think I'm just gonna add some like sculpted stitches, not like with nano mesh or anything. I don't think I need to get that intense. Just kind of push that in a little bit. I'm actually going to go ahead and scale this up, so we're going to put this in the center. There we go. Because these shoes kind of tuck in a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and pinch a certain area right here, kind of round off the toes a little bit. Let's actually adjust that down. Smash right there. You doing good? This chat's trying over. We were super chatty a while ago, and then yeah, we just kind of just relaxing. I got super focused too, so you know how it goes. All right, gotta go for a while. Take care. Thanks so much, Alex. You're slightly tan. Yeah, that's pretty funny. I got super focused here. I'm like, how do I want to do this? Yeah, I'm just over here doing some simple UV layouts so I can test bake some beetle pieces. Ooh, I want to see that. Nice. Yay for test baking. Yeah, absolutely. It's where the battle begins. The struggle's real. There we go. Get a little bit more arch in her foot. That's it. Except Maya won't let me hit the unfold button. Why? Yeah, why does Maya hate AMD all of a sudden? Gotta get on that new Maya, Kamara. I was playing with parallax occlusion maps. Ooh. And how is that going for you, buddy? It's definitely something I know literally nothing about. Hey, thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate it. Sharp Studios, thank you so much for the follow. Oop. How are you? Welcome in. Have you enabled the Unfold 3D plugin? I was looking for a new Maya. It looks nice, but I don't have new Maya money. Yeah, no one does. Yeah, that plugin doesn't work with AMD. Really? That doesn't work with AMD? What the heck, man? They are neat, not what I need for the part I was testing it on, but I'll definitely keep my eye on it. Nice, dude. Okay. Martin, what version of Martin, curious, are you rocking AMD? Okay. What I need to do is actually get a roundness happening. Like, I need to get this edge flow going a little bit different. I need this to kind of round, and I wasn't doing that. Oh, you're currently on Intel. Okay. Get the Z modeler brush. I'm actually gonna add a point here. I'm gonna purposely add a triangle. I'm gonna bridge 2 points. There we go. Go. Currently I'm on Intel, but ordered a new AMD CPU. Interesting. You don't have time to unload and reload the plugin multiple times, which also involves restarting Maya for every unload or reload. Oh, that's tough. I'm just wondering if it really is an AMD issue or if that's like a Maya bug or something that's, you know, they've since fixed. Splinter, don't hurt me. Everybody attack! Just kidding. Safe place, next knock, safe place. I mean, yeah, you can unwrap in Blender, then bring it back, and nobody has to know. It'll be our dirty little secret. You know that song. I'll accept the Blender and exactly. I get it, trust me. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and accept the shoe. So no longer subdivisions because we're gonna start giving it some stitches. So we're gonna up the resolution a little bit. And I'm actually going, I think I want to use the basic stitch brush. Yeah, I think that'll be fun. And we are going to keep that color. But first, actually, you know what? Change my mind. Let's actually go with the /3 brush real fast. Let's use a morph target. Bloop. I want to take off that color. There we go. Yeah, like that. Then let's bring up the lazy mouse, and now we're gonna kind of draw this seam line. Just like such. Yeah, like that. There we go. So we get that right there. That created across. Now we're going to take the inflate brush. I'm actually going to start pinching this together. Just give us a nice seam look. Go. Hope the unfold issue is fixed in Maya 21. Yeah, I can use the smooth tool, hit the unfold slider like 20 times, and you get the same result. Interesting. Speaking of not wanting to learn new software, is anyone in here competent with Autodesk Inventor? Nope. Not at all, Slowbee. Yeah, last time I used Autodesk was when I opened up Fusion. It was for a job, and it didn't work. They did not hire. That's okay. Just tried to reload the plugin again just to see. Fatal error. Holy crap. Have you looked at see if somebody else has fixed that issue, or if this is, you know what I mean? It's like, have you looked to see if somebody else has had similar issues or whatnot? Just curious. I mean, I'm sure you have. I'm now like thinking, how would I troubleshoot? Yeah, UV layout is one of the 3 things I still use Maya for. It won't even work on my new computer. So weird. Oh yeah, I've done a ton of research on it. Everyone, it's all reload the plugin and good luck. Okay, all right. I assumed you had. I just thought to ask. See, for me, and I don't know, for me, this is one of those things where I'm like, okay, what program does do it, and then migrate over to there. And I know you don't want to learn a new program just yet because you're trying to get your project done. I totally get it. But that's actually, those are some of the reasons actually why I kind of walked away from Maya and Blender, just because things weren't working for me and I didn't need it to. It wasn't something that was going to keep me dedicated to the program, you know? But I know what you're trying to do too, so you kind of need it to work. So I get the frustration, is my point. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and turn on render preview AO. Ooh, that's dark. Let's go 20. Next doc, weirdly, Fusion and Inventor files don't keep their history across software. Ooh, interesting. I wonder why that is. That's funky. Okay. Okay. Now that I have this, but I got a lot of this kind of funkiness happening, that's where that morph target is going to come into play to clean this up a little bit. Now I'm going to hit BMO, right? Is that the morph target? Where's the morph target now? Or did they change it? They did to G now. Every time they add in a new brush, they change the shortcuts. I mean, it requires a valid morph target. Are you kidding me? You're not liking me right now? Okay, well then we do one other thing which is really cool. Let's go back in history. Right before we started cutting that. Okay, right there. I'm gonna go ahead and control tap that history. Let's bring that forward and let's save it real quick. Joy, what's happening? Now I'm gonna use the history brush. History recall. No, turn symmetry off. Okay. Interesting. That means I'm going to do it on the left side. I'm just going to clean up some of this warbling effect. Take that focal shift, draw size up. Turn off that color. Basically going to use it kind of like a smooth. Just to get some of the impurities out. or imperfections. Kind of just clean that up a bit. Cool shoes. Thanks. Thank you. Yeah. A little work in progress on it. I need to fix the character's face, but I felt like moving on. Smooth that down just a bit. I use a completely obscure program called Space Claim, which is actually a really awesome program. But you're right, very obscure. Most people have never heard of it, but I fell in love with it. I need to mess with Fusion, but it's too clunky, laggy for me right now. Yeah, it's yeah, Fusion's weird, man. Anybody who says Fusion's weird, I'm immediately like, I know exactly what you're talking about. Let's see. What's the purpose of the history brush and how is it used? So the history brush, what it does is, here real quick, let me mirror and weld what I need it to. Let's delete lower. What the history brush does is up here at the very top, you have your history line. You have your blue line, which is your active history point. And then you can create a white line, which will target a history point or a point in time. So the history brush, what it'll do is, let's say I did this, right? I did this slash right here on this boot. And then I spent time sculpting somewhere else, right? And I did this a bunch of time. And I really like this, what's going on over here. And then I come over and realize that, crap, I made this line, but I don't want to smooth it because it'll destroy everything else. So what you could do is you can go back into your history to a point where you didn't have it. You can hold control and tap, and you'll mark that point in history. And then you come back forward, so you keep all the work that you did. But then with that history brush, you can actually come back and paint that point in history to your active one. So all the work that you did on one side will still be there. You didn't smooth it so it wasn't destructive. And now that history brush, you just come in here and you just paint and it'll mark that. And then when you're done, you can unmark that point by hitting control tapping. Let's come over here. So you can control tap that point to get rid of it, and then you're good to go. That way you're not stuck on hitting control Z a bunch of times. It's a very useful brush. I used to forget about it a lot. Yeah, it's kind of like a morph target. But I marked a morph target on my shoes, and it didn't want me to use the morph target. So I was a little upset by that. So whatever. It didn't like my morph target. So fine. Like, can't do anything about that. There we go. Now I'm going to take the H polish. So, yeah. Gonna lurk. Thanks, Joy. Appreciate it. Yeah, check that out, Slowbee. I think you'll love it. Gonna go ahead and now try to lightly smooth, get some of this clean. There we go. go. There, not too bad. Pretty decent shoes. I think we're gonna have to use the Move Infinite now, though, and kind of just reshape her toe. So let's actually take the mask. Let's mask that off a little bit. Let's push in that and then bring this up a little bit. And let's down, bring that out. There we go. How will you go about making some sneakers? Any advice on how to block them out? Yes, so I'll actually show you with these shoes. Shoes are just layers. That's the best way to think about them. If you take a picture of a shoe, for example, and we'll use this for example. This is the shoe that I'm recreating, right? So every shoe has its main chunk, which is, you know, not that I know the shoe anatomy, but you basically have the main boot that your foot goes into. Then you have the soles of the shoe that go underneath, and you usually have a tongue. Then it's about laces. So the way I would recommend going about it is grab yourself a shoe reference. So kind of like what I did, you know, just type in like sneakers that you really like. So let's take something as simple as this Nike right here, right? So what you want to do is actually kind of break down your basic shapes to get the shoe itself done. So I would actually save this. We'll put this on the desktop just for now. And if you have the ability to do it in Photoshop, do it. But what I'm going to recommend is you kind of just create like a little draw over to get your basic primitive shapes. You start looking at objects this way when you do it after a while. But I'll show you right here. If we grab that image, bring it into Photoshop. Oh. Come on. Oh boy. It saved it as a frickin' web file. So stupid. Okay. So we have this. So what I would recommend is go ahead and grab your picture, throw it into Photoshop or some program where you can kind of just draw over it. And then just break down the forms themselves. So here with my brush, let's take a brighter color, something like this. There we go. That's red, so maybe take green. So then just kind of break down, like, first off, the main shape where your foot would be. This is actually your foot right here, right? You have your heel. So I would actually start by taking the foot and copying it, and then having like a mask extract to get this main shape. And then everything is just layered on top of it. From here, you can then create the base of the shoe just by pulling and extruding from underneath that main spot. Then you know that this is kind of another shape. It's very cylindrical, so you can just kind of maybe stack that on, wrap that around the foot. The details, forget about the details. Don't worry about that until you're at the very end. But even those details are just layers. And if we take let's say take a yellow, this is just a strip, an extra strip. You can mask this out, and I'll demonstrate this in a minute. But this is just a strip that goes here. This is just another strip that's on top of that, but it all resides within the first initial shape. So if we go back to Photoshop, to ZBrush, and we take this shoe, for example, and we're just going to go back in history so you can kind of see where it started. Let's go back.
I found one of my color pins, and I was asking if I can like glue the ball and put it back in.
Alright, bring it to me and I'll fix it later. Not right now. Okay, so we just started with, all I did was I took the main foot and I just mass extracted out this shape right here. Hey, what's up, Pancakes? Welcome in, buddy. And then from there, I just started slowly kind of warping it out. I brought the tongue out by extruding the tongue out. And then I just kind of gave it some thickness, and I just started shaping it. This boot's pretty simple, So I didn't have to worry too much about details. But let's say I wanted to add more details, right? So this is a simple shoe. So with the sneaker, I'm just going to do the same approach. What I'm going to do is actually come in here. And let's say I wanted to have like a little lip back here. I'd actually draw that lip out. Something like this. Say okay. Sharpen that mask. And then I can extract that out. And say, oh, we just want this to have like maybe 0.001 thickness. Just something really small. And then I would say accept that. And now I have this piece to work with. And now it's an addition to that. And you just layer that way. So it's the simplest way to explain it. But just start with the main foot. Duplicate that foot. Kind of create the base of it. And then you just work off of there. Same thing with this heel. So I'm going to delete this one. With this heel, I literally took a piece from underneath my shoe. Literally just copied the bottom part of this. Come on, grab it. And let's go back in time. So what I did was I duplicated this. And I just cut off the bottom part. And then I started taking that shape and just matching it to the boot. Slowly just extracting. Giving it some thickness. Molding it, moving it. Created the heel. And then gave it some texture until it looked like my reference. Always have reference when you're doing anything. So this is my shoe reference, and this is where I got. So hopefully that makes sense. Manifesto, hey, what's up? Yeah, ZBrush saves history. I did not know that. Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah, it saves history. However, I will tell you, Manifesto, be very careful. When you save subtools, like what I have going on here, if you hit save as and say, yeah, let's save the subtool, it does not save the history. If you want to save history for long-term projects like time lapses or anything, then you need to save it as a project. So you go to File and you click this button here called Undo History, and then you save a project. It's going to be massive, but that will definitely save the history as well. You can also use the new brushes instead of extract. Exactly, yep. Yeah, you can easily use, for example, let's grab this guy. Yeah, you can just use now the, mesh project. Yeah, and just draw that shape on there. And then as long as you don't have subdivisions, of course. So if I delete lower, boom, you can have you can have that there. You can control the intensity, of course. But then, yeah. So yeah, that's an easy way to do it too. Have I used any of the new features on this sculpt? On this sculpt? No. Well, yes, kind of. Okay, so I used balloon mesh to block out the base. When I created my base mesh, I used balloon mesh to block it out quickly, but then after that, I was pretty much done. Then I just used old techniques. Yeah, cool thing is saving history per subtool. It is. It just makes it a massive file. Thanks, man. Very, very clear. Okay, great. Glad I can help. What if you go back a version in history and change? Can you go to the newer version? So the way to do that would be using a brush called History Recall. That's the way you'd want to do it. If you want to keep your changes moving forward, but you want to correct something in the past, you can hold Control and tap a spot in history, and then that will save it. But that's only going to bring you back to that point while keeping everything you've done moving forward. Doesn't really work the other way around. If you go back in time and then start sculpting, it's gonna say, hey, like here, it's gonna yell at you and say, you sure you wanna, because it'll delete all that point in history in the front. So the only way to really do that well would be to would be to go back, use history recall, and then move forward that way. That brush is kind of weird. How is UT? What's UT? I'm not sure I understand what UT is. Okay. Okay. There we go. And it looks like her boots kind of hangs from her foot a little bit. Zoom in here. Yeah. There we go. Now we can have a little bit of separation on the tongue. There we go. Okay. Yeah, that boot's pretty good. All right, I need to fix her face, but I'm gonna bring in some more of her hair, and then we're gonna be calling it at noon today because I got to get back to work. But let me add in some more hair, and then I need to clean up her face. So tomorrow we'll probably go in and really start cleaning up her face. Because right now it's pretty rough. Let's get some hair in here. Let me load a brush. So I think I was using the Macon hair brushes. Yeah. Making sure the color doesn't. Okay, there we go. We're gonna go with that long strand right there. There we go. I'm gonna split this off. Let's go split masked. Let's adjust this. Let's see here. I mostly block my character with primitives and then try to Dynamesh and add more form, but anytime I hit Dynamesh, all forms stick together. Any advice on how to continue after your primitive blockouts? Yes, actually, all you need to do, if you still want to use Dynamesh, but you don't want anything sticking to your form, what I recommend you do is turn on Dynamesh groups. So let's say I have this shape right here, and I want to merge. I'm going to add in, a sphere. So I'm going to use my IMM brush, for example, right? So I bring the sphere in here, and I want this right here to give me my shape. I want to Dynamesh this, but I don't want to have these merge together. What you need to do is go to Geometry, go down to Dynamesh, and you need to turn on groups. The moment you do that, as long as the polygroups are different and you Dynamesh, they don't stick together. So you could be sculpting, you can come in and add another primitive. Say, yep, that's really cool. Let's add that there. Block out my shape, add that in there, Dynamesh it. Now that primitive is not Dynameshed in, so you could still keep your forms. And you can even then turn around and use this feature to then reset this whole control, duplicate that form. Bring this up, bring that down type thing. Turn around, hit auto groups, because you've multiplied and copied things. Hit auto groups, then Dynamesh, and now things aren't stuck together. But if I were to Dynamesh normally, now things are stuck together. So that's a great way to utilize Dynamesh and keep things not merging together until you want them to, and still use Dynamesh to its full potential. So geometry, Dynamesh, keep groups on. As soon as you turn that off, though, in Dynamesh, it'll merge things together. Now you got that. So let me know if that works for you. Okay, what I'm going to be doing is move this here. Yeah, let's put this kind of in the middle. Something like that. Okay, I'm going to use the bend curve. Let's turn this hoodie off. There we go. Her hair is really, really long. Okay, so you can smooth the shapes together, then you have groups with Dynamesh. Yep, exactly. Exactly right. And then you don't have to worry about whether or not your model's going to stick. You can just focus on the sculpt. I didn't mean to do that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this. No, not the folder, just the hair piece. Okay, we're keeping her hair kind of mirrored right now until I pose her. Just give me a little bit of consistency at the moment. Also, too, there might be a little bit of a delay between me and YouTube, so if I need to go back and showcase what I did, I will. Okay, with this jacket, with this hair, I'm actually gonna duplicate these together. Kind of bring these in the back a bit. Oops, keep that one. Delete it. We don't need to work too much on the back of her hair, but I kind of want to just have a little bit of something just in case. Go here. Just delete hidden. Let's give it a little bit of form in the back. Hey, Peter, what's happening, dude? Hello, hello, my friend. How you doing? I'm doing good, dude. I'm doing good. Sculpting away. You know. Same old, same old. Having fun while doing it. Getting to that point where I'm gonna want to pose her, but I gotta clean her face up a little bit. Her face is looking it's a little rough still. Still like blocked out stage. But for the most part, we have everything we need. Just gotta actually add some stitches to her jacket and her pocket. But I would say we're pretty much finishing on that. Pockets are a little bit bigger, so let's do something more like that. There we go. Doing good, just getting ready to get animated tonight after work. Nice, man, nice. Heck yeah. Okay. Gonna turn off thickness for a second. We're gonna work single-sided. And let's start cutting in some seams. So with a /3 brush, I'm gonna go, let's try turning on a morph target again. Thank you. Actually gonna apply the subdivision. There we go, yeah. Let's do... Ooh, actually, you know what? Let me try something. I want to try something. Hold on a second. What's that? No, not right now. Have some cooked ones. It's interesting because in Maya I can do nesting, but it appears that I can't visually do that in Blender, at least not from what I've seen. But you're trying to learn the constraints parenting from Maya over to Blender. Gotcha. Okay, I'm gonna mask off this edge. I'm going to turn on the local sim. I'm actually going to scale this in. So I'm making a seam in this jacket. So I'm going to scale this in. Now I'm going to take the Z modeler brush. We're going to take our edge, our insert edge loop. I'm going to insert. Go ahead and take the select lasso. Let's see here, how do I want to do this? Yeah, I want to take this one. Yeah, I want to flare that out a little bit. Yeah, okay. I might be doing this the hard way, but no, I don't want to close holes. Okay, actually, let me see. Okay, let me back up. I have another idea. Let's go back in time. There we go, right there. That's fine. Yep, clear that. I want this one and this one. There we go. That's, yeah, I was doing it all wrong. I was doing it all wrong, guys. Add another edge loop, another edge loop. There we go. There we go. Kind of want that little pocket seam. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and take this. I'm gonna crease this edge. There we go. It's interesting because in my... Oh yeah, I read that. Okay, cool. I have an issue. I realize every time I dynamesh my primitives together and I'm smoothing some forms, resolution is lower and others is higher, and it doesn't make the form uniform sculpting any help. Yeah, okay, so one of the things that you would want to do... So dynamesh is hard when it comes to keeping uniformity going as smooth as possible. So there's a couple ways you can go around or get around that. The first, you're gonna... Dynamesh inherently is not a smooth operation. Nothing about that is a smooth process. You can see my model here is dynameshed, and it looks like it's supposed to be, quote, low poly. So dynamesh for me is usually about blocking out forms. And that's about it. However, if we take this part, for example, right here, if you want smooth, clean surfaces, you're going to want to use subdivisions to get that looking nice and clean. But if you still want to use Dynamesh, but you bring in a new form that's not quite the resolution that you want, what I recommend doing is subdividing it first. So like, let's say we have this and it's Dynameshed, but I need them all to be kind of the same form, right? This is where I would come in if I still wanted to use Dynamesh, but I brought in other models. In fact, let's take this guy. Let's bring this in as a clear example. This is a different geometry across the board. I go to Dynamesh that, and now it's all kind of funky. At the end of the day, subdivisions work more than anything else, but if you still want to use Dynamesh, it's going to help you in the long run to uniformly Z-remesh it. But you're going to want to turn keep groups on at that point. Dynamesh, the problem with Dynamesh is that it's not meant to have final works on. Dynamesh is meant to have kind of a quick, rough, down and dirty, sculpt it quickly as possible, pull shapes out, rebuild your mesh as fast as possible. It's not trying to give you clean topology. That's where subdivisions come in. So if you're struggling to maintain a smooth form, even on low resolutions, but you're using Dynamesh, then you're going to want to get away from Dynamesh, and you're going to want to start using subdivision, in my opinion. But Dynamesh is tricky, and Dynamesh, when you use Dynamesh, you're right, it does make it look like it has this thing. You'd have to smooth that down in order for it to look pretty good. But, so where I was going with this is, I would say Z-remesh it, keep it with the keep groups, so that you keep your shapes the way you want it to. And then I would say, subdivide, get it smooth, delete your lower, and then come back and then turn Dynamesh back on. And that will give you a smoother looking surface so that you can have a nice look and still utilize Dynamesh, keeping it as low as possible. But you're gonna fight this a lot. Yeah, Dynamesh is very destructive and is not meant for looking good. Subdivisions. Because here's the thing, right? As soon as I go ahead and add this form, which is blocky, and then I Dynamesh that together, you see how rough that is now? So even though it's a different poly group and it didn't weld, it's only going to maintain the shape that it sees. And it's not going to give you what you want. So Dynamesh is used for, like I said, rebuilding geometry on the fly. So I build the shape and now I want this. Whoops, I broke that. Rebuild. 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 That's its purpose. Nothing more, nothing less. If you want to clean this up, that's when I would say, great, get away from Dynamesh, turn it off, Z-remesh, keep groups. Now Z-remesh it, get the topology working for you as best as you can. Great. Now start subdividing and get that smooth look. And you can still work off of this. It's just now you can't rebuild your geometry. So if you wanted to rebuild this, it's not going to work. So I would say use Dynamesh until you got your nice block out and you're ready to start detailing, not necessarily adding on. But yeah. Hopefully that's helpful to you. Or hopefully that makes sense. Okay. So got some seams going on. That's nice arm seams there. I like it. You can kind of puff up the jacket a little bit more too. Actually let's use the Move Infinite. That's fine. It's funny. I actually don't use Dynamesh that much these days. Actually, I'm gonna have to use it soon because it's kind of what Zebra's Core Mini is all about. But I use it once in a while. I just, I block things out more often too. I use primitives a lot, and subdivisions just help. Keeps everything looking nice and clean. Okay. I would say at this point, let's go ahead and make one more change. That's going to be right down here at the bottom. So I'm actually going to go ahead and let's insert set right here. I'm actually going to hover over this poly group, a poly loop, like that. I don't know why I didn't think of that before. So Z modeler, poly group, poly loop, we'll do that. Come here for the insert. Grab that, there we go. Scale that in a little bit. Let's bring that up. Let's add in another edge loop here. Another edge loop here. Let's scale that down. Something like that. There we go. Yeah, kind of want that to tuck up a little bit. There we go. There we go. Let's grab this guy. No. Kind of bring that up a little bit. I've seen a few people design characters and they remove the body underneath and keep the clothes. What do they typically do in games when they need to put on and off the clothes? So typically in games, as I understand it, now I've never worked in games, but when I trained at the 3D Character Workshop, we learned about game development. Typically, if the character has a change of clothes, then you're going to have the body separated from the clothing. And a lot of times the character itself can basically, when you switch the clothing, you'll have to have that mesh underneath it to remove the cloth. But then sometimes they'll have the clothing stitched to the body, so then it's a full body swap. So if the character was nude, then you would just have, the mesh, the main body itself. But then if, let's say you changed its shirt, but they wanted to not have the mesh underneath, then they're literally swapping out the whole body for another body that has the shirt stitched on. Because the goal is to keep the topology as low as possible for the most optimization for the game engine. So in my case, like here, right, if I had to take this jacket off, for example, bloop. All right, here's the jacket. I'm now taking the jacket off. Obviously, there's no body underneath it, right? It's because I don't need to have an arm there. It's going to be fine. So I would do a full body swap. It depends too on the project and what your art director is going to basically ask you to do. So it can go either way. So either there can be a mesh that's underneath and then clothes on top, or it's a full body swap. Typically, it just depends. So I'm out for the day. I wish everyone an amazing day, and I wish to see everyone tomorrow. Absolutely, Martin. I'm going to be ending it too, guys, here in the next minute. But yeah, that's essentially how it can. That's how it can be done. It will depend on the direction that they want to take it to keep things consistently. So really, it'll just depend on it all. For 3D printing purposes, I try to get rid of any and all mesh I don't need, especially if it's going to be covered up. Not a problem with those, though. And so how is your workflow? Like you work from Z-Remesh right away, or do you merge your forms together? What I do is I block out my form, and I'll keep it as low as I can. Sometimes I use Dynamesh. Sometimes I just keep it on just single Z-Remesh, and then I will Z-Remesh if it works. I kind of bounce back and forth. But once I get the body itself designed, then I merge it together. I usually Dynamesh, smooth out, fix some areas, and then Z-Remesh. So from that point forward, I'm now working with a subdivided model. I bounce around a little bit. Sometimes I play in Dynamesh, sometimes I play with just basic Z-spheres that then I eventually clean up, Dynamesh together, and then Z-Remesh afterwards. Because I try to get proper edge flow as well as I can. I'm gonna delete this edge. This edge is in the way. Because at the end of the day, I really want, like here, I'll show you, and then we'll be taken off. But I'll load up here's my anime base mesh. I released this on my Discord for free for anybody who wants it. And if I load in the previous file, so what I did was I blocked out everything using primitives, and I got this Dynamesh body. Then I created groups and Z-remeshed it. Then I scaled it to where I wanted it to be, refined Z-remeshed it. Then I Dynameshed again because I was having some problems. So I ended up Dynameshing it, getting it nice and clean together. And then I did a final polygroup it, create my different polygroups, Z-remesh to get decent edge flow for anyone who wants to work off the model. while still keeping it super low. This character mesh is just under 10,000 active points. So really, how you get here is indifferent. What really matters is, does it look like what you want it to look like, and will it suit the needs for your purposes? So, and then I took this and then brought it over here, and now I'm working this character. And actually, we got pretty decent today. Not too bad. Got her shoes built. Got to clean up her face a little bit more. I feel like her face right now is just a little... It's very much lacking. So we're going to have to do something about that. But overall, not too bad. Ooh, just that little change. There we go. Yeah. There we go. That's looking a little bit better. Yeah, it's looking a bit better. Still needs a little bit of work, but we'll get there. Just takes time. Anyway, guys, all right, that's going to be it for me today. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. You all are freaking awesome. So thank you guys so much. I'm going to be here tomorrow, and then, of course, Friday as well. My schedule, for those of you who are new, are Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9 a.m. to noon Pacific Standard Time. Or Daylight Savings. I don't know where we're at these days. But thank you guys. I appreciate it. Let me just save this real fast. And then I'll see you guys tomorrow. And no promises, but I might work on her face a little bit more. It's driving me nuts, so I may want to try to fix it. But if I do, I'll show you guys what I did. So anyway, guys, all right, that is it. I will talk to you later. Bye.